Hey everybody, Coach Jess here from fillyourbooks.com, here with one of our amazing students, Jess, who is going to share with us a little bit about her journey through Fill Your Books, what led her there. She is based out of Texas. Some things that I think are important to mention is that she was like a full-time college student. She does hair. She got her own suite in 2020. Like, this girl is something else, but she still needed like help. She was still kind of confused on like what was going to really work. And so I just kind of want to hear a little bit about first, like diving into just like what led you to Fill Your Books, like really, like what was some of that backstory that led you to us?
So I was already in college for business marketing and management. So I thought, okay, cool. I'm going to the university, college aspect of this. I should do amazing in my business because that's what you're taught in school. And after applying all the tactics as far as marketing and reaching out to people and your referrals and making sure you're having deposits and all these certain little small business aspects, it wasn't enough. It got me started. It got my foot in the door. I built a decent clientele. I was overall pretty busy. Um, so in a way, I felt my business was becoming successful, but it plateaued. And for a good long while, and especially as a hairstylist, we see a lot of ups and downs in the market. And I got tired of rolling with the punches. And I was like, okay, instead of rolling with the punches, how do I punch back? How do I become the person that doesn't have to go with the flow? And instead is like, okay, yeah, it's the current's hitting me, but I'm solid. My business is solid. We don't move here. My clientele is stable. My prices are higher than they've ever been, whatever the case. And that's kind of where I realized I needed help. I needed to outsource. The university had only reached me to a certain point that I needed help in my own industry. And when I saw the whole Fill Your Books 6-figure stylist, I was like, how am I not going to receive advice from somebody who is a 6-figure stylist? Make that make sense. So that's what initially got my foot in the door.
Make that make sense. No, and I know we were talking a little bit earlier about, surrounding yourself with the right type of people that can like elevate you. And if you're the smartest person in the room at that point, it's like you've kind of capped yourself. So now it's
Yep.
time to like upgrade the room that you're in and see what else you can learn. And I love that you put yourself in the room with people who are learning and that you're going to college. When now that you reflect back, like what were some of the pieces that were missing for you? Was it just that it wasn't specific and they didn't understand our industry? Did you still kind of, where did you have challenges still?
I think you just named it. It wasn't as specific. As far as marketing goes in university level, it's a broad perspective because it gives you marketing. Let's say if it was for a Cheerios brand, it could be a football team, it could be anything. But specifically in our industry, it's so relationship based that we don't only offer a service, we offer a human, you know what I mean? And a lot of times we're out of touch with our own human self. And I realized that the marketing they were teaching me was basics, and I needed to focus in on my industry and how how I could apply it. Because what I had done as far as the basics wasn't working anymore. It was working, but it wasn't to the potential it could have been.
So you came in to Fill Your Books, and obviously like Fill Your Books was an investment again on top of college, and you're still going through college and trying to do Fill Your Books. How did you feel like, coming into this? How did you feel like going through it and knowing that you have to juggle those things and knowing it was an investment and, all of that?
I think initially I came in strong. I was like, I got it. You know what? I'll put it on the credit card. I no big deal. And we're going to be fine. And I'll just juggle my time. So I came in with like a flame, and then it slowly started burning out. Like anybody, it was stressful. I was taking 4 classes at the time, paying for my own apartment, paying for my suite itself, products, inflation, blah, 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 blah. And after a while, it got a little overwhelming, like anything would. But it was until I actually realized, I took a moment to sit down. I said, look, you are paying for this. This isn't something that got gifted to you. So you might as well apply yourself. And even though at the same time I was applying myself at school, like I said, I've kind of reached a certain mental space where I'm like, look, yes, school is beneficial, but I've kind of learned how to weed out the necessary and unnecessary parts of school where I'm like, okay, this is a good nugget to have. And okay, this is just verbiage that I'll probably never use again. You know what I mean? So I was able to kind of put one side next to the other and realize, okay, this is a short program. I need to focus in, learn as much as I can because it is a good investment. So I might as well just apply myself. And it was until the end. And it's funny, the school ended and also the program ended around the same time. And I've gotten to reflect back on both. And I think I would learned a lot more beneficial things for my business as far as fill your books than my last couple marketing classes, which I'm glad for. And I'm glad that I did have that mental moment where I sat down and actually talked to myself in the mirror, was like, get it together type of thing. It was good. It was stressful, but good.
I remember you sharing like that moment where you had to sit down with yourself, because I think for you, one of the struggles that you had shared with us was the inconsistency in
Yeah.
your business, and very similar to those waves where they can come crashing in. We're like overwhelmed and busy, but it's great. And then it ebbs and we're like, oh shit, 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 shit.
Yeah.
And so it's just like being so tired of that inconsistency, and then realizing, you having this realization that like, oh, like my business is reflecting what I've been able to put into it right
Yeah.
now. And you had that little aha moment, I believe, like in the gym when you were going
Yeah.
through your workout journey. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yes. So I was a stick. Let's just simple as that. I've always either been super heavy or a stick. So finally I said, okay, I have a goal. I want to gain muscle. And of course that means you have to add the weights, eat your protein, take your creatine, take your supplements, all these type of deals. And for the longest time I also plateaued in my fitness journey. It was just like, okay, you're doing the exact same workout. I try to stick to a workout for 6 weeks. You're doing the exact same workouts. You have not added any weight in about 6 weeks. And the workouts are getting easier. Sure, that's awesome, but you're not gaining the muscle mass that you're wanting to because you're too scared to add the weight. And if you have a partner, add the weight. If you fail, cool. Maybe you'll learn to position yourself better. Maybe you'll be like, all right, I'll try a little less this time, or I'm going to do small increments, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds. And it was a weird moment at the gym where I had hit a new personal record. And I will share, it was 315 pounds on my hip thrust. And I had never done that before. I used to maybe do like a little bit over 45 pounds on hip thrust. So that was a huge increase from 45 pounds to 315. And I realized that 45 pounds was about 2 years ago. So it took me 2 years to even get to this weight that I've been wanting to do for the longest time. And until that little green light, the little light went off, and I was like, huh, okay. If I put enough time and consistency and all the extra details as far as the protein, the supplements, the research into my fitness, and now I'm reaching my goals 2 years later, why am I not doing the exact same thing to my business? And that's where it clicked. It clicked. I'm like, okay, I've built enough of a good business model, but it's not perfect. It has flaws. I'm getting hit by the waves. I'm getting thrown down and tousled around. I'm tired of that. This is somebody, Fill Your Books is a program where six-figure stylists are teaching you. So listen, it's that simple. Because if you knew it yourself, you would be a six-figure stylist yourself and not watching the videos of how to become one.
Mhm.
And I realized, okay, let me add the 5 pound weights, which was watching a video, doing the documents. Cool. Maybe 10 pounds, going back to the same video, the same document, and perfecting it. Maybe this time, not being shy and posting in the group and asking, hey, how does this look? Help me out. Nobody's there to judge you.
Right.
Frankly, no, we're very locked in ourselves and focused in on ourselves. A lot of people, they're not going to judge you and be like, oh, what a stupid question. They're just going to help you out, get you where you need to be. And I started adding small increments of those 5, 10 pound weights in my business aspect.
Mhm.
And from there on, it's been smooth sailing.
Yeah.
It's been nice. It took a good while. I've been in business since 2020 and we are now in 2023, and now it's like finally the aha clicked in moment. So I could imagine 3 years from now where my business could be. Perhaps maybe I could be a coach at that point or helping other people. So it was definitely a weird thing, but in the gym is where it all clicked for me. And that may be different for everybody else, but the
No.
gym was mine.
No, I love it. I think it's so relatable, and it's an interesting lesson that it's across the board in so many things. And I know, like, so far we've kind of talked about just like our circle of influence, and having a good support system and not kind of sticking with people that don't really align with the direction that you're going. That consistency just in your work as well as in the gym, and how you need to let time catch up, and constantly be showing up and not be afraid to add things on, because you have kind of gotten through the basics of marketing, right? But then you had to elevate and add more weight on, and that you added this program on while you're still juggling that, and because you had plateaued, right? And it's just
Mhm.
like you're constantly going to have to do that. And that feeling, right? That soreness after the workout, that's like taking that and not being like, oh my God, I'm so sore, I never want to do that again, but being like, oh my gosh, I'm so sore, I'm growing, right?
Yep.
And having that perspective shift within to know and how to associate it so that it's uplifting, it's empowering, it's exciting, and it invigorates you to keep going, and allowing that to be your fuel, right? To
Yep.
to keep growing, because otherwise it's so easy to get distracted by shiny objects and to be like, well, maybe this or maybe that, or maybe you could add on this, and
Mhm.
and adding the wrong things to your workout routine, adding the wrong things to your business could be detrimental. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
And I started doing that with my business as well. I think I had mentioned to you way in the beginning where I was like, okay, my business is not doing good. Let me look for a side hustle.
Yeah.
I was starting to look at high ticket sales. I started looking at Amazon sellers, Amazon FBA, and all these extra little aspects. Where I was like, okay, I can make money like this. I can make money like that. I even thought like maybe I'll tutor for some of the students. And I started bouncing around all over that I realized, okay, if I really want to make progress within my business, the growth and the learning has to be within my business. There's millionaires today that they still are learning something every single day. You don't stop learning. And if you do, you're going to plateau. And I had gotten to the point where I thought I was a hot shot. Oh, I got a business. I got this. I got that. I have a good clientele. But if I also came to think, okay, if I'm too busy, I need to probably raise my prices. I need to do something. I am working 12 hours and making the same amount that I was working, another 12 hours for less amount. And I'm like, this isn't working. So I had to outsource and realize I have to continue growing. And even after this program, reading books, maybe take another mentorship class, whatever the case, you have to keep going all the time. It's an ongoing game, you could say, but it's so worth it because like you said, not everything that shines is gold,
Yeah.
and it's so easy to take a quick left turn and you may get rerouted, and who knows, maybe that left turn may work for you, but you're probably going to lose at what was on site at that moment.
Yeah. It sounds like you've had a lot of awesome like perspective shifts and aha moments and growth. Like, what are some of the results that you have had that differentiated from before? And like, what do you kind of foresee life looking like going forward? Do you kind of foresee, the light at the end of the tunnel of hitting your 8K a month goal,
Mhm.
things like
I
that?
think one of the biggest things I've noticed change was my ideal clientele, because I'm 23 years old, I'm Latina, and I work in a predominantly white older community. So for the longest time, I kind of had to shift my personality to work with each client, and I'd be happy to just have any client in my chair. And until I learned organic marketing, where I was like, hey, you can get the people you want. You don't have to just get anybody you want in your chair. That's the whole point of being a business owner. You choose who you have that service for. And it was like, duh. So once I did that, and now I've reached out to people who maybe are also Latinas, maybe they're dog moms, maybe they're fitness girls, maybe they're estheticians and lash techs and all these other things. My overall books have now filled up with people I genuinely look forward to seeing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how was your date 6 weeks ago? And that has been a tremendous change for me. Also, as far as that ideal client, that they are top selling clients as well. They go to expensive areas, they do invest in themselves, they do buy brand name. So I've now also have clients that not only pay my prices, but they tip me very generously. So that's another huge aspect for me, because sometimes I'd meet people that I really liked, and people can tip when they can, which is of course normal, and whenever they can is appreciated. But when you meet some people that they're like, hey, I am also in a business where I understand what you do, so I'm going to tip you very well, that's like, where
Yeah.
have you been? Oh, I've been down the street, you just didn't find me.
Yeah.
It I was like, man, okay, so that was a huge one for me as far as what has changed on my business. I've been able to hold myself more accountable as far as my timing and my time blocking, versus before I've heard about time blocking and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll work out for an hour, or yeah, I'll work for 6 hours. And it was kind of like keeping it in a mental type of
Yeah.
thing. But until I actually sat down and I had timers. Oh my gosh, I have timers going off all day long. And I was like, oh, you should be done by now. And having to stop what I'm doing so it doesn't affect the rest of my day also has helped me tremendously in my business, even working on my time, because time is money, and
Yeah.
realizing, okay, I don't need an hour and a half to do an entire haircut. I can do a beautiful service, massage everything in an hour, cut it down. If you
Mhm.
cut those down a couple times in your workday, you could get 2 to 3 more haircuts in.
Yeah.
And little things like that, just it created this cool momentum. I was like, okay, ideal clients, top paying clients, and shorter service times. Like, oh, you
Okay.
disappeared for a second.
I'm still here.
Okay, there you go. Sorry, I didn't mean to look at you crazy. You just disappeared out of nowhere.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it was a crazy big shift for me, for my clientele, top paying clients, and now my time shift, and even my marketing strategies has changed. Not too much. I still have remained as far as my marketing basics that I learned in school, but as far as specific small details has
Yeah, the
now,
nuances.
yeah,
I feel like you've been able to elevate because of
yes,
the nuances, because now you have more clarity on how to build those relationships,
yes,
you know, what that framework looks like. So you have a little bit more of a process where you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time and be like, is this gonna work? Like, no, you kind of have that sense of
guidance.
direction. Yeah.
Yes, it definitely was a lot of trial and error, which, you learn from every single time, but there's only so many times you want to try something new. Sometimes you'll just run out of ideas, simple as that. So the fact that this program really kind of gave me somebody to hold my hand and walk me through it, answer my questions, and be like, look, this has worked for other people in the past. It'll probably work for you. Here is the framework. Here is the exact lines you can use. Was like, oh my gosh, this is like a cheat code.
Hmm.
That's as simple as it is. It is a cheat code to become a six-figure stylist. And where it's put right in your face, and it's up to you whether you're like, should I do it, or I don't know if I'm gonna believe you. You're only a six-figure stylist. I don't think I'm gonna believe you. Like, no, absolutely not. It's too perfect of a program for it not to work in the long run. Like, it may take a long time. I still haven't hit my goal just yet,
Hmm.
but talk to me a year from now. I probably will by then.
I see you 6 months from now.
Yeah, probably. Like, I have gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, I have everything I need here. Now we just gotta consistently do it.
Now it just comes down to you, right? And learning all of the lessons and keeping those in the
Yes.
forefront of your mind, because yeah, now you're not in a position where it's like, we talked about this when we took vacation, right? And
Yep.
now there was like a side effect to going on vacation. And you would have maybe picked back up on things that you were doing that worked well before your vacation, before Fill Your Books, where you had a system and a process. And then you'll see that kind of valley, right? Where it's like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, now I need to change. This isn't working anymore. But now like it's not about that. You don't need to change what you're doing. You have certainty, you have clarity. And that way you don't like accidentally self-sabotage, right? And that's huge for you. What for someone who's watching this and kind of like can hear your story and it's hitting with them, what would you say to someone who's thinking about coming into Fill Your Books? Would you recommend it to them?
I would say you can invest in a lot of things. You can invest in that Gucci bag. You can invest in a badass TV or whatever you want. But the best investment you can do is investing in yourself. And especially when you're building a business, you already took that initial step of, I'm working for me. I'm stepping out of corporate America. I'm starting up my business and I want to run it the way I want to. Now, this program is like a security blanket. You want to run your program and run your business the way you choose to, you might as well have a cheat code on how to successfully do it. So, whether it's now or later, because I looked at this program in 2020 and I didn't jump on it because I didn't have the financial means to do it. Now, in 2023, I had more financial means and I realized, okay, I need to do better for myself. And that investment needs to be within yourself, your business in order to prosper. Simple as that, down to the basics. Just investing yourself. It's worth it. Worst case scenario, realistically, you learn a couple nuggets and you apply them. You're welcome. That's it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, like it's you either decide to take all of the framework and you get there maybe quicker, or you decide to just grab a few of them. And even with just a few, you will see success in the long run that you may look back at the ones you put to the side and be like, you know what, those may actually work too. But there's not anything I've seen like this on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, something that breaks it down this specifically. It's not out there. Trust me, I've looked. It's not.
She had 3 years.
Yeah, I had 3 years to be like, how to become a six-figure stylist. I've done the research and there is nothing like it for sure.
Oh, I appreciate you sharing so much of your story. I've loved seeing
Yeah.
your growth and seeing your journey. If you guys are watching this and you're kind of now curious, I really recommend talking to one of our onboarding coaches. Just have the conversation. See if it even makes sense, right? Like knowledge is power. Just do yourself a favor and just get information. I know Jess did back in 2020 and she's like, this might not be the right time, but now she knew it existed and she was able to come back to us when she was ready. And I really want that for you guys. So it's no pressure at the end of the day. Fill an application, go check out some more testimonials, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks so much, Jess. It was so good.
Of course.
to have
Thank
you
you.
here. You're welcome.
Like, I don't know. Can I send you flowers or something? Like, where do I start? Thank
Listen,
you.
your family, we are going to stay connected.
There you go.
That's what we do here. Like, I feel like our community is definitely also like one of a kind, you know?
It is. I don't think I've had such a experience where they truly hold your hand through it. And that just gives that feeling of stress or like, okay, they're going to give me a program and I'm supposed to figure it out by myself. You're not. You're not by yourself.
No,
And
not alone.
schools like that. More college is more like that. So the fact that I paid for a program, which is probably the same as my tuition at that semester level, it's like I had more help here than I did over there. And that is just such a relief.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad that you came back and went for it, because
Me
I'm
too.
so excited to see you actually hitting those goals, working your schedule, having all of the things. It'll just make me so happy to kind of see it come full circle and you'd be like, yes, Jess, like I'm here to say, come get your 6-figure award at freaking Solstice.
That would be crazy. That really would be. But I definitely see it happening. I've already got it stuck in my head. And I'm one of those people that once it's in my head and it's stuck there, it has to happen now. It'll eat away at me. So I now have what I need to get there. Now it's just up to me to actually apply it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Guys, listen to Jess. She has so many good nuggets in this interview today. Rewatch it because it is mindset. It's showing up for yourself, investing in yourself, taking the leap of faith. And even like you said, even if not all of it is new to you, it only takes a few things to pivot to change the trajectory of exactly where you're going. Like you could be going this way, and if you pivot just a little bit, before you know it, you're in a totally different space after some time. And that's a huge lesson, I think, to hold on to and to remember when you're doing anything. So let this, guys, be that decision, that pivot for you that could change the whole trajectory of your life, because I 100% believe in it. I'm a former student too. Jess has now just shared her experience. And so what are you waiting for? Hopefully I'll see you guys on the other side.